This is XY Spark, restoring holistic, healthy masculinity. Thank you for joining us here again at XY Spark. This is your boy, your men's life coach, Rolando. How are you guys doing? I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day so far. I am so excited to be with you. It is Take Back Tuesday. Are you guys having a great week? Have you been motivated? Have you been empowered? Have you been reaching your goals? Have you been doing those things that you have said to yourself at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of this month, earlier this week, last weekend? Have you been following through with your pledges? Have you been following through with doing the things that's going to help you to become the best version of yourself? Well, this morning, I would like to talk with you a little bit more about how you can take your life back. Have you been struggling in ways to take your life back? How are you making things happen differently in your life? This morning, we want to talk about how you can take your life back and overcome your greatest fears. So, what is your greatest fear right now? Is your greatest fear being alone? Are you in that position where you're in a relationship right now and you are struggling? It feels in your gut like this relationship is going to end soon, and you feel that fear of being alone. What's your fear? Is your fear that you don't feel confident enough that you can maintain your sobriety, you can maintain your recovery? Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel like right around you, the things that are there that you need to have in place in order to maintain your recovery, do you just feel fearful that, you know what, this is just not going to work? I'm not going to be able to make it under these circumstances. What's your greatest fear? Is your greatest fear that, hey, anytime now, because things in the company look so shaky, anytime now I may be out of a job, so I fear that I'm going to be in a place where I am unemployed? What is your greatest fear? Is it your greatest fear that you feel like, you know what, I don't know if I have what it takes to break away from these associations? Because if I break away from these associations, what am I going to do? I don't want to be alone. I need friends. I need social interaction. I need to connect. But when you look at it, it's because of these social interactions why you're in the position where you are at right now. So, what is your greatest fear? And so this morning, I want to talk with you a little bit about ways that you can overcome your greatest fear. Are you ready? Okay, great. Let's do this. Here are some tips to overcome your greatest fear. Big point number one is if you are struggling with something, you need to pause and sit down and make a list. Yes, make a list. Make a pros and cons list as it relates to all those things that you're fearful of. I need you to pinpoint some things that may be pros if this thing actually happens. Yes, I'm serious. If this relationship ends, what are some of the pros? And what are some of the cons? If I lose my job right now, what are some of the pros? What are some of the cons? If I break these associations right now, what are some of the pros? And what are some of the cons? You see, sometimes when we get into our heads too much and we only see cons, sometimes it's hard for us to see pros. But what if breaking away from that relationship is going to help you to rediscover yourself? What if losing that relationship is going to help you to see things about yourself that you never knew existed? I've heard so many stories of men who have been in long-term relationship and the relationship goes south. And all of a sudden, he starts to feel that he has no purpose. All of a sudden, you start to feel ashamed. You blame yourself. You start saying to yourself that life is not worth it. You start doing some unhealthy things. You look for a quick rebound. Is that the answer? Will that help you to feel better about yourself? Maybe temporarily. You start drinking a little bit more than normal. You start sitting around and swimming in deep depression and despair. But sometimes it's because you become so codependent in those relationships why you end up in that position now where you have to seek to stand on your own 2 feet all by yourself. And it's tough, it's painful because you have lost that emotional connection and you feel like, how am I ever going to get that back? But if you want to take your life back from that pain, you've got to seek to see some spark amidst the despair. And you may be listening to this podcast now, and you may be saying, Rolando, you're talking nonsense because there's no way for me to see spark in that. My relationship is over. My partner is gone. Here I am. I have to think about co parenting and sharing these responsibilities. And you're telling me to look for spark in that. Yes, I'm telling you to look for a spark in that. I'm telling you that here is a golden opportunity for you to reflect and do something different so that the next time it will not happen the same way it did. You see, one of the worst things to ever happen to you or to me as a man is for you to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And you know the definition of insanity, right? So I need you to look at ways that you can take your life back from that fear of being alone. Take your life back from that fear that I'm going to lose my job. Remember, until you get that letter, you have no proof. So you need to sit down and look at ways that you're going to take your life back from that fear of being unemployed unless you have the letter in your hand already. And even if you got that letter with your let you go, I want you to remember that the more time you spend ruminating on how could they let me go? I've given so much years of my life to this company. I thought I had a good relationship with my supervisor. I thought the manager was a cool guy. The time you spend swimming around in that quicksand of hopelessness and self blaming, you would seek to reset. See it as a chance to start a new chapter in your life. Don't see it as starting over. If you see it as starting over, you are going to continue to be in that place of despair. That chapter of your life is now closed. Accept it and move forward because you can't change it. The more time you spend ruminating and worrying about why did they do this, why did they let me go, why am I in this place, is the more it will distract you from seeking to see opportunities, from seeking to make connections, from seeking to move forward. Do you want to move forward? Well, take your life back from that despair. Take your life back from that fear and that worry and move forward. You may be in that place where you're worrying, you're fearful because, hey, you're saying to yourself, this is my circle. But sometimes a question that I want to ask is this: are you sure that you're not confusing a drinking or using buddy with an actual friend? Just imagine if you were to remove the alcohol out of the way, or the drugs out of the way, or the promiscuity out of the way. Do you feel that these friends that you have would still be there for you, or would they abandon you? So sometimes that fear that you have of losing that social interaction because you've decided that I want to practice a healthier lifestyle, those who you see are drawing away from you. They were not supposed to be there in the first place. Yes, I'm saying that chances are these are only friends with benefits. They're only friends because of associations. They're only quote unquote friends because of what you've been able to do for them. And you've got to take your life back from this fear. Maybe stepping away from those associations will open you up to actually connecting with people who are genuine, with people who are going somewhere, with people who are ready to take the planet by storm. So it's important for you to overcome your greatest fear by recognizing that it may be possible that the way that I'm going to evolve and grow to become the best version of myself, the way that I'm going to take my life back from my greatest fear is to first pause and reflect on whether or not this is good for me. Ask yourself this question: how will this bring value to my life? That's how you take your life back from your greatest fear. Ask yourself potent questions. Ask yourself pointed questions. Ask yourself questions that will challenge you to search for answers. Don't just settle for the same old, same old. So today, as you go out there, it's Take Back Tuesday. Challenge yourself. Confront those fears. Break away from those places of self doubt and take your life back so that you can become the best version of yourself. This is your boy, your men's life coach here on XY Spark. Thank you for joining us. We do look forward to seeing you again and to hearing from you. Please like, share, and comment. Let us know how this podcast has been helpful for you. In the meantime, we continue to remind you that at XY Spark, we believe that there is a spark in you. We will see you again next time.